Hi everyone, my name is Karen and welcome back to my channel, Rather Be Reading. I'm here today to do my weekly wrap up for the second week of April. I had a really good reading week. I finished a total of 5 books, which I'm really happy with. So I'll just jump straight in. Let's talk about what I read this week. The first book I completed this week is Rebel Angels by Libba Bray. This is the second book in the Gemma Doyle trilogy, the first book being A Great and Terrible Beauty. I enjoyed this just as much as I did the first book. I gave this a 4 stars as well. I can't say what this is about as this is the second book in the trilogy, but the first book follows a girl in a Victorian England boarding school and it's kind of a paranormal historical fiction. Like I said, I really enjoyed this. Libba Bray just does a really amazing job of kind of writing women's issues. I mean, I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but she writes so well, kind of a young girl's kind of coming of age and her kind of discovering her sexuality, and just as well issues of, like, you know, this is set in Victorian England, so issues with kind of a woman discovering her worth in a time when women weren't created equal. So I really enjoyed that aspect. I also feel like Libba Bray does a really good job of writing teenage girls' friendships. The kind of intricacies and sometimes when you can almost hate your friends, she writes it really, really well and I find it really believable and easy to relate to. I did guess the kind of twist in the plot in this one, but it didn't detract from my overall enjoyment of the book at all, and I'm definitely excited to pick up the last one in this trilogy, which I hope to pick up very soon. The second book I completed this week is When You Leave by Monica Ropal. This was a book that I was approved for on NetGalley, so thank you so much to Running Press Kids for approving me to read this one. I really enjoyed this book. The premise of the story is really great. It's about a girl and a boy who are attending the same kind of private high school, but the girl has trust issues. Her father has left her family, her mother's kind of an absentee parent, her best friend had a close scare with cancer, and so she just has real trust issues and she doesn't like letting people in, but she meets this boy and she decides to let him in and they fall in love, and then he is murdered. So the book kind of kicks off from there and with her trying to kind of solve his murder, and it was just a really great premise. I will say that I kind of wish they hadn't revealed the murder in the synopsis, because going in knowing that, I just was kind of waiting at the beginning for that character to be murdered, and as such I wasn't as connected to his death as I probably would have been if I didn't know that he was going to be murdered, and it also could have been a really great, like, kind of shock moment. But I do understand that they were probably trying to entice readers in who maybe don't want to read what would have just seemed like a cheesy romance, so I kind of understand it, but I personally wish that I didn't know that going in. I really, really enjoyed the friendship between the main character Cass and her best friend Maddie. That was probably my favourite aspect of the entire book. I mean, I don't think this is going to win any like great awards or anything, but it was just a quick, easy read that I really enjoyed, and I would definitely recommend picking it up if it sounds like something you'd be interested in. I gave this one 4 stars. The third book I completed this week is the For a Divergent collection by Veronica Roth. This is the bind-up of the 4 novellas from For's point of view. The first 3 novellas are set prior to Divergent, and the 4th is set kind of in the middle of Divergent, and you also get some bonus chapters, not chapters, like scenes from Divergent as well at the end. I was reluctant to pick this up because I was so disappointed in Allegiant, so I was a bit like, oh, I don't know if I can handle this, but I couldn't not pick it up. I wanted to just read it, like, you know, complete the series and finish it. So I read these, and I'm glad that I did because I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. I really enjoyed seeing things from For's point of view before he met Tris, and seeing his, like, initiation and his choosing ceremony when he chooses to be Dauntless. And it was just, it was good. I enjoyed it a lot, and I ended up giving this 4 stars. So if you didn't like Allegiant and you were tossing up whether to pick these up, I would definitely say that it's worth the read. The fourth book I completed this week was Sloppy First by Megan McCafferty. This is the first in the Jessica Darling series, which I believe is a series of 5 books, and I didn't know a lot going in. I just kind of knew it was about a girl in high school and that it had been compared to a John Hughes movie, which really excited me because I love John Hughes movies. And I enjoyed this. I found it to be really kind of realistic and relatable. Like, it's a bit kind of crude, but that I think makes it realistic and believable, because that's kind of how teenagers are, or at least that's how I probably was when I was her age. Yeah, so I enjoyed this. I particularly found her relationships kind of with friends and parents just very kind of easy to relate to, and yeah, I did see in a lot of the reviews for this that the rest of the series is very disappointing compared to this, so I'm a bit scared to pick up the rest of the series, but I'll definitely be picking up the next book, and I also gave this book 4 stars. The final book I completed this week was Catalyst by Helena Coggan. This is another NetGalley read, so thank you to Hodder and Stoughton for approving me to read this one. This book was actually published on April 14th, so it is available now for you to read. And can I just say, the first draft of this book was written by the author Helena Coggan when she was only 13, and this book is published now when she's 15, which is just amazing. And for her age, I did find the writing to be very impressive. If I had written this book when I was 15, it wouldn't be very good, let me tell you that. So I was definitely very impressed with the writing style given the age of the author. I really enjoyed the premise of this book. This book is set in a world where there are magical people and non-magical people called Ashkind, and there's obviously tension and conflicts between the magical and non-magical people. I just really love books set around that kind of idea, so I definitely enjoyed the premise. I really enjoyed the main character Rose's relationship with her father. It was really good, but apart from that, I found Rose's relationships with some of the other side characters, for example Maria, Nate and James, to be quite underdeveloped. Like, there were just different times where, like, for example, Nate, who's supposed to be her best friend, would do something and say, oh, I'm her best friend. And I would go, well, are you? Because I know that you say that you are, but we haven't really seen anything or been told anything that really, like, evidences your friendship. So I really felt like that probably could have been built on. The pacing of the book was also really great. It's very fast-paced. It didn't lag at any point, which I really enjoyed. There were a few parts of the story that I didn't think were believable, kind of in the context of the story, but overall I did enjoy this, and if there is a second book, I'm not sure if there is, but there could definitely be a second book. I would definitely be interested in picking it up. I gave this book 3.5 stars. So that's everything I read last week. Now let's get into the books that I'm planning to pick up in the coming week. I've actually already completed one book so far this week, and that was We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Yes, I'm not going to go into what this is about because I didn't know what it was about going into it, and I do think it's best to go in blind. But yeah, I've already completed this, so I'll be talking about this in my wrap-up next week. I'm also currently reading 3 to Get Deadly by Janet Evanovich. This is the 3rd book in the Stephanie Plum series. This is just kind of a very light-hearted, easy, chick flicky kind of series. So yes, I'm only about, I don't know, 40 pages into that at the moment, so I'm reading that this week. Following on from that, I'm planning to pick up another NetGalley read, and that is What She Left by T.R. Richmond. All I really know about this is that it's kind of a mystery thriller, and I believe it's set around a man who is trying to figure out kind of the background about a woman who has been murdered. And the synopsis is quite vague, so that's all I really know about it, but I love mystery thriller books, so I'm definitely excited to pick that one up. And then following on from that, I am planning to pick up Horns by Joe Hill. I am really excited to read this. This is set around a man, whatever, whose girlfriend is murdered, and then following her murder, I believe he grows horns out of his head, and everyone thinks that he did it. I think this is a horror novel. I believe it's a horror novel, and I'm really excited to pick this up because I've heard really good things about it. So that's everything I read and everything I'm planning to read. I'd love to know what you guys are reading, what you're planning to read. And yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Bye guys.